Swagged out, familiar, we bringing them gas out. I still got some racks stuffed in the trap house. Off the 42, I'm blowing her back out. I'm back out. Bullshit, spin back with a full clip. They say
As you can see by the title, we finna be talking about a book series. And a book series that I'm really, really excited about because book 4 just came out a couple days ago. I've already filmed a video about the For Blood and Ash series last year, but it got deleted, and so I'm gonna have to refilm it. But this is gonna be a series on my channel, and I'm gonna be your friendly neighborhood smut dealer because I got all of the sauce. So if there's any books that you want me to read, put it in the description. If I've already read it, it's probably gonna be a video on my channel at some point. So yeah, just look out for that. But I have a little mini rant. And it's probably gonna take up a good chunk of this video. So let me just give y'all a brief synopsis of the people who have not read the book or you plan on reading it. If you like enemies to lovers, this is for you. This whole series is for you. If you like heavy story, not just, this is for you. If you like really tall, dark-haired men that will burn the whole world for their girl, this is for you. If you like shelter girl turn mad bitch, this is for you. If you like supportive man who is feared by everyone, but he killing shit with his girl, this is for you. What else? Fantasy, this is for you. This is fantasy, you know. So yeah, I think vampires, this is for you. This was my first fantasy book. Not like in life, but my first like intentionally reading a book that I know is fantasy. And because I'm not really like, I'm not against fantasy, but you know, like the fantasy I like is like shit like based off like mythology or like shit like that. I'm not really let me see some fucking wolves and vampire type shit. Like, I'm not that kind of girl. I was not into Twilight like that. But yeah, so I didn't know what was going on. But yeah, it's not like a cliche wolves vampires type thing. This is a really, really good, nicely presented story. But anyways, I have a rant. So I'm probably gonna do a little marker here. So, things I liked about this series, because I'm not going to go really deep into the story about this one because this is like 3 whole books and it's a lot of story. I might talk a little bit about it, but we're going to see. So, things that I liked. This was a very story-heavy book. Like, to me, most romance novels that I read, they have a story, but this one was like an actual story. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, let's just rush into the fucking part. It was like, no, here's the backstory. Here's the world we are living in. Here's her life story. Here's where she's at in life. To me, it was like Harry Potter or something. Like, not literally, but like, you know, Harry Potter got some things going on, you know? And it's not just like, oh, he at Hogwarts. You know what I mean? It was like, this is her life. This is what her thought process is. This is what she wants. Da-da-da-da-da. Here's the world. Here's the people in her life. It was like Jennifer, she put her whole Armand Trissy into this motherfucking series, okay? All of the details, the lore was there. It was beautiful, okay? And it was not hard to follow. And I've seen a lot of people complaining about it. They were like, oh, like, we don't need to know all of these locations, and we don't need to know about all these deities and all this other shit. Yes, we do. We do. And everything made sense. It wasn't like there was just detail that was just put in there for no reason. Everything was incorporated to make the story cohesive, and I loved it because it was like, I feel like this story been going on for years. Like, I've really enjoyed it. So that was a plus for me, which was a minus for a lot of people. They're like, oh, it's just too much information. Like, I'm bored. Like, my best friend, she was the one who recommended me this book. And she didn't finish it until recently. Like, when she told me to read it, I actually read it. And she was like, oh yeah, like I couldn't get into it. It was going too slow for me. And I'm like, yeah, but that's just because it's you got to get through the story first. Like they not just gonna start banging right away. Like you got to get through the story. And so she ended up reading it and actually loving it. And I feel like if you want a good story with some romance and some spice, you should read it because Jennifer did not. She did not spare anything. She gave us everything we needed to have. You know, she gave what it was supposed to give. And so, okay, so what else had happened? People were complaining about how much the story emphasized that Poppy was strong. And that's kind of a weird criticism because I've read some pretty misogynistic books and they don't really respect, I mean, not at first, they don't really respect the female characters in the book, but coming from the fact that she was sheltered and she was surrounded by a bunch of misogynistic motherfuckers, her relationship with Cass was beautiful because first of all, Cass is one of my top 5 book boyfriends. Like that is my man. I'm gonna stick beside him. Period. But he was really he emphasized like supporting her. Like he wasn't like, oh, I'm the man. I'm gonna do the man thing and protect you. He's like, no, I'm gonna protect you, but like I'm gonna still let you grow into who I think you can be. He was like, he's seen something in her. Like she's not this little helpless little thing. She's that girl for real. And he was like, I'm gonna let you be that girl, and I'm not gonna stop you from being that girl. I'm gonna be right here beside you, supporting you. Period. And I love that because we don't see that enough. I mean, we see it, but we don't see it enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's really common for like other characters in the story to underestimate a strong female character, but Poppy went from being like really clueless, well, not like completely clueless, but she went from being physically tough and a little clueless about how the world around her worked to being that bitch. And I very much love that, and I don't mind that they focused on how strong she is because it was really about her coming into that strength after not knowing herself for a while. Like it was really her learning about herself throughout the whole book and the book series. And so it was very much a great example of growing together with somebody. Like if you meet somebody and you're not necessarily where you need to be yet, you're growing into who you need to be and he's growing into who he needs to be, but y'all doing it together and y'all are problem solving and y'all are communicating. It was beautiful. Anyways, next thing that people didn't like was the relationship between Kieran and Poppy. Also, before I even get into that, I think my one thing that I didn't really like was the fact that why is every female character in books named after a fucking flower? Like, this is the second Poppy I've read within like the past few months. And I read this book and another book within like the same similar time frame. Why are we naming girls poppies? And in this other book, Violetta, and in this other book, like, why are we naming girls after flowers? You know, we got other names we can choose from. Like, let's get a Jessica. Let's get a Hannah. Let's get a something. Let's get something else. Move around, okay? Anyways, people didn't like the fact that Kieran had a catchphrase for when he was talking to Poppy because she asked a lot of questions. This girl been locked up her whole life. And these are the only people that know what's going on. She's like, oh, I have a question. And then he's like, oh, I'm not surprised or something like that. And people were mad because that was included like a handful of times in the series. It's cute. It's funny. Their relationship is cute and funny. Like, they have this cute sibling-like relationship. I hope they don't end up hooking up because, you know, it's a thing in the book. But, okay, so there's a thing called bonding, and it's supposed to be between the husband and the wife. The husband is Atlantean, the wife, whoever the wife is, and then the Atlanteans are bonded to wolves. So usually when they get married, they're supposed to have a threesome. But that didn't happen. It was not mandatory, so they didn't do it. I don't know if it's going to happen in the first book. I'm hoping it doesn't because Kieran's relationship between between him and Poppy are very cute. I think in book 3 is when they have like a really, really cute bonding moment where she discovers that she can telepathically speak to the other wolves, and so they talk about history and shit, and they test it out, and he's just really protective and cute over her. Like, they get into a fight because he's not really like Cass, in the sense that Cass is like, yeah, go fight, here's a knife, go ahead, go do your thing. And Kieran is like, we gonna protect her. Like, I don't want you going out there to fight. It's not safe for you, because she already got attacked in the story at this point. This is in book 3. And so he's like, no. And so they get into a fight, and then he ends up apologizing because Cass is like, look, she can handle her own. I get that you want to protect her, but she's that girl. So, you can back her up, but you can't stop her from being that bitch. You know what I'm saying? So that happens. But yeah, people were pretty pissed off about their relationship, and I think that's really dumb. You're mad because he isn't surprised that she has a question. She does ask a lot of questions, which is fine. So, you're just nitpicking, move around. What else? They didn't like the whole God thing, because there's a lot of gods and deities and whatever. Which is whatever, like, who cares? Anyways, they didn't like the fact that what else? It was something else. Oh, y'all, my ADHD is fucking up. Hold on. I'm trying to think. I had it on the tip of my tongue. Oh, they thought the story was predictable. That. Now, I don't know if I'm just slow. But I didn't predict anything that happened in this story. Honestly, I didn't predict that Cass wasn't who he said he was. I didn't predict anything in this series. Like, I was shook. The context clues was not there for me. I didn't even understand what an Atlantean was until we got to the fucking palace with his family. Like, I was confused. That's not true. It wasn't the palace. It was the first little thing where she discovered Kieran was a wolf. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I'm like, huh? And people were like, oh yeah, that was just so predictable. It was so boring. I didn't predict that at all. The way it was presented didn't seem predictable. I think y'all are just being haters. So, yeah, it didn't seem predictable at all. I was very confused to find out that what are they called? Not dissenters. What are they called? The people that raised Poppy. Ascended. The Ascended. I was confused to find out what the Ascended were. I know what a Revenant is. When we got to that part, I know what a Revenant is. Because I play Dragon Age and games like that. But I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. And so I just think that, first of all, this review is not even a good review. It's just me word vomiting about what I liked and did not like about the For Blood and Ash series. But let me just say this to say it is a great series. If you're interested in a fantasy book with some smutty smut, and I'm talking about smutty smut, very romantic, but smutty smut, this is the one for you. I'm reading book 4. Like, I started book 4 last night. Like, I read like a couple pages, but then I got distracted because I wanted to make this video and I don't want to forget anything that happened. So, there's a lot of plot twists and there's a lot of twists and turns in this series, but it is definitely worth it. Don't be listening to the people that have little nitpicky, bitchy comments about it, because it was a good story. Cass, top 5 book boyfriends. Let me tell you, out of all of the men that I love, he's up there. Like, that is a king. That is a king. I don't care. Listen, anyways. Also, there's a lot of diversity in this book. I love that because I hate reading a book and there's not enough black people in it. I'm sorry. Like, we got a whole black family up in here, and I love that for us. So, yeah. That's all I got to say about this. I don't know what I'm going to title this video because I literally was just ranting and nothing has made sense the whole time I've been recording. But the next book review is actually going to be a book review. I'm going to talk about it and it's going to be better than this. I'm sorry. I just got really excited. Anyways, thank you for watching. Subscribe to be along for the ride. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on everything. And leave me comments of books you recommend. All right. Bye.